Hi again. I wanted to come back and film a video about coping during pregnancy after loss. And this is just from my personal experience with my pregnancy with Mila. And it's so personal and different for everybody. But these are the things that I found were helpful for me. So I actually, at the beginning of the pregnancy, right from the start, my husband and I decided to just be so grateful for every day and really try to live in the present, and not think about tomorrow, next week, next month when she's born. That was literally impossible to think about. All we could think about was right now, everything is okay. Let's just take it a day at a time. And that really got me through the beginning for sure. Those first few weeks before the first ultrasound were so hard, just being really unsure of, if we would get to the first ultrasound and there would be a heartbeat. I was full of doubt and fear from the beginning. And then after the first ultrasound, which we had at 8 weeks, and we saw the baby's heartbeat, it became a little easier going forward, I think, because there was proof that the baby was alive. But between then, so 8 weeks, and when I started feeling her move, which actually was really early, it was 12 weeks, really tiny little movements, I still had a lot of fear and doubt because there was no proof, like I couldn't feel her move. We actually found out at around 10 weeks that she was a girl because we did the blood tests that come back with the sex. So then we could start calling her a she, and we chose her name. We had names ready. That was another thing I think that really was clear to us, that we wanted to name the baby right away as soon as we knew the sex. And so we called her Mila. We referred to her with her name from then on. She was living, she was alive, she was there, and we wanted to appreciate every day of her life starting then. I think after you've experienced pregnancy loss, a lot of beliefs about, when life starts and like when there's consciousness, that kind of changed for me at least. And I really did think of her as, from right then, she was there, and eventually she would be hearing us, and she was having her own experience inside the womb, and that, was her beginning of her life. So we definitely talked to her starting at, really when we thought she could begin to hear, and that helped too. I think, I didn't take this pregnancy as being detached. I thought that might happen to me, but it didn't. And that's not something you can choose. It either happens or it doesn't, I think. And I feel really grateful that I did feel attached to her right from the start. And I savored the pregnancy. I wanted to talk to her and rub my belly and feel her move. And eventually it became easier to think about her being born and, really making it. But that didn't come for a long time. So another coping strategy that really helped me was actually watching videos here on YouTube that other women had filmed during their pregnancies after loss. So Charity Means Love was my number one. She really helped me get through pregnancy with Mila. I actually watched one of her videos almost every day of the pregnancy. I repeated them. I probably could recite them. I knew them so well. But she just had such a positive outlook, and being able to see her whole journey and know that it ended with a baby that lived and was happy and healthy, really helped me get through. And I still follow her all the time. So she has little Emmanuel. He's 2. He just turned 2. And so thank you, Charity, if you're watching. What else helped me? I think surrounding myself with people who had been there with me through losing Amelia and all the way through getting pregnant again was helpful, because people who otherwise didn't get it. And honestly, no one gets what it feels like to lose a child unless they have. But it was just really hard to talk with people who just, thought I was a happy-go-lucky pregnant lady, and that wasn't the case. It's not the same being pregnant after loss. So, like, little things that I would overhear other pregnant women just like in public at the grocery store complaining about, oh, I just want this baby out already. Things like that would really get to me, and I just tried to like focus in on myself and get through the supermarket if I saw a lady talking like that or whatever. But I'm digressing. I get a little sidetracked sometimes. There's just a lot to talk about. But what else? I think another thing that really helped me was saying a little like prayer of gratitude, I guess I could call it, every night. So every night before I went to bed, I would sit there. I actually held this piece of crystal quartz. So I have a few crystals. I'm not super crazy into it. I'm getting into it, but I would hold it just like as a way to focus. And I would close my eyes and I would just say, thank you for this day, and just think about how grateful I was to have that day with Mila. And I would hold my belly and feel her move if she was moving, or if she wasn't, just hold her. And that helped me. It helped me just focus on one day at a time and that whole mantra. And I would also thank Amelia and send my love to her. So it wasn't really a prayer to God. I'm not a very religious person. I know that can help a lot of people, but and I really have wished that I could be more religious, because I know that it is a huge source of strength for people, their faith. But for me, it was really just, sending that thankfulness out into the universe in a way, and just knowing it was the end of the day and giving me some positivity as I went to sleep. So that was helpful for me. Something that my husband and I did do was we did buy things for Mila from the beginning. Like when we reached milestones, certain week, every week is huge, but certain weeks we would decide, okay, well, let's go buy something for her. So we would go, if they had like a sale at Old Navy or something that we just stumbled upon, we would buy her a little onesie, or buy something for the nursery, things like that. That's funny because she doesn't actually sleep in a nursery, like she's in our room still. But that brings me to another point, which is we did paint her room, what would be her room, and get stuff and just prepare for her. That wasn't until like the later weeks, like in the 30s, I would say. She was born at 36 weeks and 4 days, actually. She came early. And I'll share my birth story in another video. But we probably around like 33, 34 weeks started really getting the things that we needed to be prepared for her, and just realizing, okay, like we're going to be bringing a baby home, and just having that mentality. As hard as it was to think in the future. But to realize that we had to plan for her, because you can't bring a baby home to nothing. You have to have a place for them to sleep. You have to have some clothes. That's basically it. If you're breastfeeding, there's not much else you need to get. But that helped me, preparing for her and trying to make it feel real that, okay, we are going to be taking home a living baby at the end of this and taking care of her. What else? I think those are the main things, like my little prayer at night that I would say, preparing for her, calling her by name, connecting with the pregnancy, and trying to take just one day at a time. Those are all the main things. But like I said, it's different for everyone, and some women feel better when they detach from the pregnancy and just try to distract themselves and try not to bond with the baby. That wasn't my way, and I'm grateful that it wasn't, but it's also something I didn't choose. It just naturally happened. So I'm grateful for that. So yeah, those were a few tips. Those are things that worked for me, and I think the main one is taking one day at a time and just saying, right now, this baby is fine. Everything is okay. That one mantra really got me through. So I hope to film another video soon, maybe my birth story with Mila, and I have another few ideas for videos coming up. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.